Here is her question. She says, musicians write songs in a specific key so everyone who plays an instrument knows what key to play together in. Soroyans are matched, and if I remember right, Virginia knows what key a set of zills is in. She does. When picking out a piece of music to zill along to, wouldn't it be better if the set of zills are in the same key as the music? Are there zills that complement each other if you don't have an exact match? Or are there keys that complement each other if you don't have an exact match?
My name is Sahira, and I'm here to teach you the beautiful art of belly dance.
I love this conversation for so many reasons, Sharon. Like, it really dives deep into the fact that zills can be so much more than rhythm and percussion, that they do have a melodic element. And yes, all the different cymbals have a different tone, which technically are a different note. I was just going to dive in and say, I have almost never chosen a particular set of zills for a performance based on the song that I'm dancing to. But now I will think about it more. That you've mentioned it, Sharon, I will definitely think about it more. What I have done, certainly when I do a cappella finger cymbal performances and I perform with more than one set of cymbals, I absolutely listen to them. I actually spend a lot of time taking them all out of their storage containers and playing them one at a time to listen to notes that create sort of a chord, because sometimes I play with up to 3 different notes, right, that create a chord that sounds really pleasing to my ear. Each chord also kind of has a different flavor or feeling to it. So depending on the kind of a cappella number I want to construct, I will absolutely try to find a chord that has a similar vibe or flair, if that makes sense. Now you're talking about playing it to recorded music or even to live music, right? And so I think because so often finger cymbals, when we play along to recorded music, are much more of a rhythm instrument than a melody line instrument. We don't think about kind of the tuning, and a lot of dancers own 1 or 2, pairs of finger cymbals. So you're often going to pick the one that has the finish that matches your costume or is loud enough or soft enough for the venue that you're playing in. But it did make me think of drums. Like when I play at the Renaissance Festival and we have a frame drummer that plays with us, he will often tune his drum to the music. And by tuning the drum to the music, often he tunes it to the key or the bass or the drone of the song. So if we're playing something that's in the key of D, so D is the bass, if it's D, 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 and this is D, ba da 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 da, D, right? He'll tune his drum to the D because the D is going to sound pretty good with every note that is played in that particular, say, D major scale, right? And so we could think about trying to find out what the key of the song is and seeing if we have a pair of cymbals that are in that same key, like the key of D or the key of F. What is, the bass note of the song? That being said, because they are so rhythmic and because they are so percussive and because they live in an octave that is so much higher than the rest of the music, I think if they are in tune or if they aren't in tune, you don't really hear it quite as strongly as if you were listening to something that was more in the same octave or a similar octave as all of the other instruments. But what about 2 dancers playing with different zills, says Joanne? Should they harmonize, and how to know? Catherine, oh, you and Catherine are doing this. I love it, Joanne. Number 1, if 2 finger cymbal players are playing together, you win every time. I think it's wonderful. This is an excellent question. I have always just accepted that when you get multiple zills together, it is a little bit cacophonous, not in a bad way, cacophonous when it comes to the note that's being played. And I will admit, when someone plays the finger cymbals, even though I am a musician, I'm very tuned to the melody. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm not hearing the note that they play. So when you get 2 people playing, I don't ever notice ooh, those notes clash, unless I'm hearing them separately. There is a piece that we play in the Renaissance Festival with my ensemble Estampida. And when we have 3 players or 3 vocalists on the stage, we each grab a pair of finger cymbals and we take turns just ringing them. So the oud player is playing and the cymbal players or the singers will go ding, 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 right? And those matter, because if they're all the same, awesome. If they're like, a triad, if we're going bum, 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 beautiful. But if two are the same and one is slightly higher or lower, it sounds super weird. So we have spent some time making sure that the cymbals we use for that particular song are either complementary or all the same, but because it's so exposed, we literally play them one at a time, one right after the other. If you're going to be playing together the whole time, I don't think it's a big deal, but if you have the bandwidth and the time and the inclination to bring several sets of cymbals, I would say, like, to practice, I would say just try playing them, like try dancing together or even just playing the cymbals. So you can literally just sit and listen to the cymbals and play and say, oh, how do these sound together? If you're playing a cappella, oh man, you've got so many options available to you. You might be playing the same thing at the same time together, which is cool. But if you're playing a cappella and you choose finger cymbals that sound good together and sound good separately, you can create melody, right? Imagine if you play dugga 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 da and she plays dugga 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 da, and you take turns, right? You can play them together. But what if you take turns and yours goes dugga 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 da and hers goes dugga 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 da, or something like that, and they're slightly different, and then you've got dugga 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 dugga. Oh man, you could do such cool stuff with that. So that's a really good question. I'm gonna pay more attention. The fact that I've listened to finger cymbals now for 24 years of dance and never thought, ooh, those cymbals don't sound good together, makes me feel like it's icing on the cake and not like super integral to making happen. Yeah. This Zill Drill, those of you who are in the membership, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. If you are not, this might be a little bit new to you, but it is inspired by a conversation that was had when in a live class that happened just recently. So it must have been the Belly Dance Journey live class when we were talking about triplet shimmies, I think. So I had the question like, what is the difference between a triplet shimmy and a 3/4 shimmy? You might be like, Sahira, we're talking about finger cymbals. Why are you talking about shimmies? Because it is this mathematical conversation that has unlocked so many doors for dancers and finger cymbal players once they understand what people really intend to say and how we should be using these words. So real quick, those of you who know my soapbox are like,
oh, go, here she goes again.
When we say 3/4, which we'll often say 3/4 shimmy, right? 3/4 means you're accenting 3 and leaving the 4th go. When we play with a 3/4 shimmy, we often actually teach it as a slow 3/4 shimmy. So I'm going to back up so you can see what I'm doing here. I did not put on a hip scarf because it's finger cymbal time, but let's talk about this. When we talk 3/4 shimmies, we often break them down slow. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, right? So you're accenting 3, then there's a pause. Accenting 3, then a pause, right? So that is the 3/4. Accent 3, then there's a pause. When we talk triplet, we take those 3 and spread it out over the 4 so that they're all equal. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of going ba 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 3/4, we're going ba 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 ba, triplet, right? Because all 3 are even. And so I love to sort of, even though it's kind of techniquey and cerebral, I mean, number one, like that's me in a nutshell. It's super important to understand because I think it causes a lot of confusion for dancers and finger cymbal players when those two words are used interchangeably. So when you are shimmying, or when I teach my dancers to shimmy, I say, okay, let's do a slow 3/4 shimmy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, pause. 1 and 2. Now we're going to speed it up, take out the pause, go triplet, 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 triplet. Same thing with the zills. When I learned the gallop, I was taught it as a triplet. It's not a triplet. It's a 3/4. Da-da-dun, 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 da-da-dun. Because there's a pause, right? Lots of people still call it a triplet. That's cool. Can be confusing if you don't understand like what they actually mean and that there's a difference. So today we're going to play them both. The gallop, which is a 3/4, and the triplet, which is a triplet. which will actually be a triplet. And we're gonna play them next to each other. So let me do them for you so you know what I'm talking about. Then we're gonna stand up and play them. And my challenge or my invitation to you will be to play them with beautiful arms and hands. So first of all, and while thinking about triplets versus 3/4, yeah? So we're gonna do our gallop first, which is probably more familiar, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. Then I'm gonna make you switch to triplets, which is gonna feel a lot more continuous. Triplet, 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 triplet. Yeah? Triplet, triplet. I just alternate hands. Triplet, 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 switch. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. Switch. Triplet, 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 switch. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a switch. Triplet, 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 triplet. Pause. Does that make sense? Let's see. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Standing, if you will, because the additional thing we can add while we stand is the concept of timing this with something simple, my favorite, step touch, right? So I'm gonna think step together, step together, step together, step together. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. You all know and love your gallop. It's gonna go and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. Triplet, 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 trip. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, etc., etc. Yeah? If that is comfortable for you, if that isn't enough to make you go, ooh, get a little crazy, I invite you to start moving your arms, right? And we're just gonna keep the feet pretty simple. Or if you wanna take off the feet in deference to the arms, feel free. And I want you to think about leading from, the back, leading, using the wrists, being beautiful in the hands and fingers. I want you to think about, can you open up the hands? Can you flip over the hands? I think in order of challenge, we can think about circles, right? In either direction, sunrise or sunset. Wrists leading, fingers engage, hands flipping when they need to. You can think about snake arms, which I think are more challenging than circles in my humble opinion, right? So we're still thinking strong shoulder, elbow, wrist, and fingers, engaged fingers, right? Your fingers are engaged, that middle finger dropped. And then if you want to get real crazy, you can start to play with floreos. And then if you want to get really, really crazy, because that's just how you are and that is why you're here, feel free to change sounds. I feel personally that basic is the easiest sound to do with all of these different hand movements. The ring is also fairly easy because it's light and airy and it opens. Clack and tick are a little bit more challenging. So I invite you to level up your challenge as you would like using all of those ideas. The big take-home concept, triplet versus gallop. We'll start with gallop because it's the most common. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, here we go. Do it again. Here's our triplet. Again. Switch to triplet. Again. Floreo maybe? I know what. And a 2. Let's do 2 Almost there. And pause. How did it go? I find for the triplet, I absolutely just alternate. If you're speaking about hands, I think it was Joanne who asked. Yeah, I just alternate my hands for the triplet. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Although for the gallop, I am a right hand lead kind of gal. So I do right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. So I lead with my right. But when I do that triplet, I think because there's no pause to reset and do the right twice in a row, I absolutely like to just go right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I become a continuously alternator. The clack absolutely feels different. So I find I try to keep my fingers fairly extended to make it easier. But I talk about all of this in the tutorial inside the membership and talk about how there are certain little tricks and tips you can think about to maintain beautiful hand and arm posture. And there are certain combinations of sounds that and hand movements that I tend to kind of avoid. And there are certain augmentations to how I create certain sounds, namely the tick, that I tend to rely on if I really need my hands to look particularly pretty in that moment. Floreos, Lori, are freaking hard. Floreos are very hard, and this is one of those that I will like fully admit. Floreos plus ticks, I do not currently do. I just don't put those together on purpose because I find that they currently, for me, look pretty awful. But I bet with practice anything is possible, right? So you let me know if you dive into those and make those look good. So thank you all so much. This has been super fun. Looking forward to connecting with you all and making music with you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.